Gentlemen, the chair of the International Conference of Symphony and Opera Musicians, please welcome Bruce Ridge.
Good morning, friends and colleagues. Last week, I was visiting with the Boston Symphony in Tanglewood, and I made a pilgrimage to the Aaron Copland Memorial in the Tanglewood Garden, where the great composer's ashes are scattered. I was reminded that Copland once said that to stop the flow of music would be like the stopping of time itself, incredible and inconceivable. But this season, the flow of music did stop, as ICSOM orchestras in Atlanta, Indianapolis, and the Twin Cities were locked out by their boards and managements in an unprecedented and egregious insult to the communities of which these boards claim to be stewards. For the Minnesota Orchestra, the music has yet to return. 50 years ago, ICSOM was founded to create a more rewarding livelihood for orchestral performers, and the success of the effort is apparent in concert halls across North America. Our orchestras are now among the very best in the world, and our musicians have earned protections that allow them to care for their families and build upon their artistry as they serve the greater community that surrounds all of our cities. But in a climate of negativity, it could appear that the progress of the past 5 decades is now at risk. If one was to believe the negative messages found in the media about orchestras or the unsupportable claims of imminent disaster that are spewed by some managements and managerial organizations, you might feel a soul-crushing darkness that could lead you to question the validity of hope. But the good news I bring you today is that the bad news that permeates so many discussions of the future is largely false. Unfortunately, though, those false messages can be self-fulfilling, and we must not allow our resolve to be repelled by an assault of damaging words. The truth is that the nonprofit arts and culture industry in the United States results in over $135 billion in economic activity every year and provides over 4 million jobs. The truth is that philanthropic giving to the arts reached an all-time high last year of over $14 billion. The truth is that the number of businesses contributing to the arts has risen 18% in the past 3 years. But these facts are too often dismissed and unheard. And instead, they say that orchestras are dying, attendance is declining, and audiences are aging. Yes, they say that orchestras are dying, but the Houston Symphony approaches its centennial with the momentum of record-breaking fundraising. And the San Diego Symphony has seen a decade of balanced finances even as it more than doubled its budget. Yes, they say that attendance is declining, but the Buffalo Philharmonic sold more subscriptions this year than at any point in its 75-year history. And the Chicago Lyric Opera increased its attendance by 15%. Yes, they say that audiences are aging, but the Cleveland Orchestra doubled the number of students attending its concerts this year and is on track to set records for Severance Hall. To even claim that aging audiences are a problem, one must ignore the indisputable fact that life expectancy has increased in this past century at a rate previously unseen in the history of mankind. At a time of uncertainty in the world, where discord seems more valued than debate, where doctrines of fear and rhetoric of violence replace the inspirational words of hope that have, at moments of past crisis, led the citizens of the world to aspire to something greater than themselves, music has never been more relevant in the lives of people living at a fragile time in a fragile world. The musicians of ICSOM have never been more united than at this time of difficulty, as challenges always bring a constituency of shared idealism closer when confronted with an assault on what we hold true. We realize that none of the success musicians have cultivated over the past 50 years would have been possible without our united network of friends and without this union. We also realize that to achieve the greater successes we know are possible, we must be even more united. We have no claim to condemn the negative messages about our orchestras if we are not doing everything we can to disclaim them. We have no right to refute these messages if we are not doing everything we can to articulate the message of hope that our orchestras provide in the cities where our children learn, our companies do business, and our citizens seek the dignity of building a society based on the principles of humanity. There is no doubt that times are changing, and we all must be ready to change as well. After all, when I look at my iPhone, I know I am holding more technology in my hand than was on the Apollo spacecrafts that sailed to the moon. Such an astonishing realization creates both opportunities and challenges. The artist Ai Weiwei said, "The world is changing. This is a fact." Artists work hard, hoping to change it according to their own aspirations. He also said, "For artists today, what's most needed is to be clear about social responsibility." The next generation of musicians will build careers that are different from the careers of their teachers. This next generation must be the most ardent advocates that music has ever known, and we must provide the example for them to build upon, just as those who went before us built the foundation of unionism for us. Every means available should be utilized. Every opportunity of technology should be explored. The delegates in this convention hall should become a sodality of tweeters, of Facebookers, skilled in any area of social media that can relay the positive and truthful messages that will enhance our chance of success while negating the messages of those who seek to approach the future by turning back the clock. ICSOM comprises 4,000 musicians. In the context of the total membership of the AFM, that may seem a relatively small number, but for the impact that our orchestras have in our communities and within our locals, our presence is unmistakable. Our dedication to this union is demonstrated by the financial support we provide to our locals. Indeed, in many cases, our orchestras sustain our locals. We have always been there for this union, and now in this time of economic difficulty, we know that the union will be there for us as well. If it is true that what is most needed is to be clear about social responsibility, then we must lead by example in a tireless way that will inspire our colleagues and our communities. The musicians of the world look to those of us in this room for leadership, and we will answer that call. Boards that would seek to silence music through lockouts are displaying a shocking lack of social responsibility. But we will answer any such negative and false message with a positive and true message of hope. Virtue and vice must not receive the same award, and our true opponent is frustration, and our true enemy is apathy. The musicians of ICSOM and the musicians of this union will not allow a destructive message to undermine our idealism and hope, and we will not validate the words of those we do not respect. Those who question the value of our music cannot make us question our heart. And at a time when there are some who doubt our orchestras, we will not doubt ourselves. The comfort we can take in a time of difficulty comes from the indisputable truth that the positive message offered by musicians will far outlast the negativity of those that seek to silence us. Music cannot be silenced, and music will not be silenced. As Aaron Copland said, to do so would be inconceivable. We will stand together, as always, in solidarity, and if we do, there can be no doubt that we will all gather together again in unity to celebrate many future successes. Thank you very, very much.